Well, hello and welcome to my workshop, and welcome to episode 2 of the commission build that I'm working on. Now, I've got a bit of a plan for this episode. I'm not sure if it's going to go to plan, but I intend to get the headstock cut out and stuck onto the end of the neck, and that's going to be a 14-degree scarf joint. I'd like to get the body shape cut out of the blank, the Sapele blank that I've got. I'd also like to get the book match top thinned down and glued up. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's see if I can stick to the plan. Right, well, I've already marked out the headstock on this piece of wood. It's actually 2 pieces of wood, and it's taken from the wood that I cut from the back there. So this has been thinned down to about 14 mil. Get a bit of rubbish off it. So I'll cut that out on the bandsaw. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I've been fussing over headstock angles, trying to get the optimum position of the headstock against the neck. And I did that for the 10-degree angle for the Telecaster style guitar. Now I've got a 14-degree angle, so I've drawn out another plan here to try and work out which is the best option. And looking at this, I think this is the best option at the bottom here. So this is the nut, and what I'm looking for is the position where the headstock breaks through the top of the neck, and that looks like to be 24 mil back there. So let's just illustrate that very roughly with this. So what I'm talking about is the point at which the headstock breaks through in relation to the nut. So the nut then is above quite a bit of the neck, and the neck then goes into the headstock, and that's going to be obviously shaped once it's in there, but it doesn't interfere with any of the tuners. So that's what I'm going to do, and just so I don't forget in the future, I've written down the one I'm going to use on both sheets. Now, I'll apologise in advance if I get my arm in the way, as I always seem to end up doing, but let's see if we give it a go. So I've marked the nut on this neck blank here, and so I need to go 24 mil to the left of that. So let's mark 24 mil, which is there. So that's where the headstock should break through this neck. I'm just going to put a mark on there and do it on the other side as well. Now then, this is where I've got my little devices, which are now set to the correct angle, 14 degrees. So I'm just going to mark that. On that side, and flip it over and mark it on the other side with this other one. Right, well, I marked it with a China graph, so hopefully you'll be able to see that angle there, and you can see the line there, which is the depth of the neck at that position. So this line here is the nut position, and so basically the neck is going to go on like that. So it's quite a deep bit of neck underneath where the nut is positioned, and then the the neck will just fade out into the back of the headstock there. Just made myself a block 14 degrees to help me make that cut. So I'm going to stick that on the back of the neck and use some masking tape and double-sided to do that. That is one of the scariest cuts that I make when building guitars. Anyway, I've done that. Now I just need to plane it down. The headstock will glue on there, so need to do a bit of planing. But first, it's time for a cup of tea. Okay, so now it's just about planing this down to the line and making sure that it's absolutely flat. Right, this is really nice and flat now, so that's going to fit on there really nicely. In fact, I'll just tidy up the end there. Should be okay. Right, now I need to mark some centre lines on here. Okay, I've got this really nice and flat. I've put a centre line down there. I've also put some markings on to help me line up the headstock here. I've got a mirror here so I can see the centre line underneath, so I can see where it lines up. And so we're all ready to go and glue, I think. Alright, well, it's pouring with rain outside, but I've got the glue, got some tissues, got my little brush somewhere to brush it off, and I've got some clamps. So let's go ahead and glue this on. That's good. I want a really strong joint there, so I'm going to put some more clamps on it. To do that I need to lift it up. So that looks good. I can see the glue squeezing out, which is always a good sign. So I just need to leave this to cure now. Right, I think it's time to mark out the body shape on this blank here. One thing I'm going to do actually is put some masking tape and double-sided on the back, just to hold it steady while I mark it out. Okay, here we go. So need to give myself plenty of material, make sure that's on the centre line. The centre line in this case is just the joint for two. Oh, that's a bit too close to the edge there. Let's do something. Let's move that back. Right, try again, Dave. Plonk that there, plonk that there, press it down. And it moves. Oh dear, I don't know. Right. Here we go. I'm marking this bigger than I need, obviously, because I'm using this thick China graph pencil here. But that's ideal because I want it bigger so that I can sand it down to the actual size at the end there. 9 minutes of bandsaw in there, marvellous stuff. So now we've got the body of the guitar, it's looking really good. Wow, going to move on to the top. Now I'm going to have to run these through the thicknesser, and I'm not going to do that today because it's a Sunday afternoon and well, quite late on a Sunday afternoon. It's not really fair for everybody, so I could do that another day. But what I want to do is to sort of work out which way round I should have this pattern. One way is to have the two sort of main patches there in the middle, but the other way is to have them on the edges, and I think both ways work. So what I'm going to do now is just going to plane both these edges flush so we can get a nice join on them. For that we need the trusty shooting board. Right, so let's have a go at this. Right, okay, so I've got that reasonably good. It needs to be just fine sanded just to get it really close. But so that's one way round, and that's the other way round. Oh, interesting, isn't it? You know, I've always wondered what to do with the offcuts of body blanks, but look at this, eh? The question is it art? Well, I think I've made good progress today, and it's getting a bit late, as I said, on a Sunday, so I'm going to call it a day and come back to this tomorrow. The headstock has dried, and the The joint looks really good. So what I need to do now is just cut this piece off here. Now the name of the game here is to get that absolutely flush against the top of the neck without going too far further back and dropping the position of the nut down too low. Now at the moment there's a very small ledge there and a slightly larger ledge there, so I just need to see if I can take a little bit more off. And the closer I get, the harder it gets. I always plane at an angle like this because the blade cuts through easier, I've found anyway. That's looking pretty good. It's slightly high there, so I'll just mark it with some pencil. Take a bit off the back here. Really fine now, so don't want to take too much off. Tell you what, I'm really pleased with that. I can actually see the pencil line coming through from the original mark I made, and I'm spot on. Look at that. Wow. To give you a quick visual of where we're at with this neck, this is a dummy fretboard I've just put on just for the purposes of having a look. So the nut will be in that position there, and fretboard will be about that width. And obviously I'll shape that down, and there'll be a veneer on the top of this headstock, but I think that's looking pretty good. Now I'll put the neck to one side for a while. The next problem I need to solve is the top. Now these have bowed very slightly, so what I need to do is to flatten this side. If I run it through the thicknesser's rollers will press it down and just thickness it, but it won't fix the problem. So what I need to do is to stick some veneer on the bottom, and this is approximately 1mm thick, and that will then stop the rollers pushing down on the middle, and hopefully take that middle piece off and level it out. So let me stick this on. I'm just going to do it with masking tape. I'm hoping that that's going to hold it. Obviously the tape will add a little bit more thickness to it as well. Well, that certainly made a big improvement on that. One of the problems with the thicknesser is you get a thing called snipe, I think, or snape, forgotten. Basically where the planer takes off a little bit more than it should do, and that's happened a bit here. But I don't think that's a problem. It's going to be sanded down anyway at the end of the day, so I think it's going to be okay. Let's try the other one. Now then, which way looks best? I've done this little cardboard cutout just to have a look. So this is where I've got basically the ripples more in the centre and the shapes on the edges. And the alternative is this way, where we've got the ripples coming in on the edges there and the shape running down the middle. Having had a really good look at this from different angles, myself and Carolyn have decided that probably this is the best way round. Now, so I think I'm going to glue it up this way. If we subsequently find it isn't the best way, then we can, well, saw it down the middle and start again. But we've tried all the other options and this really looks nice. It's got such beautiful figuring here, and the ripples, you don't really see that until you move around, but they come across the whole guitar. It looks really lovely. So I'm going to make sure that this joint here is really smooth, really tight, and we'll glue it together. This is just about fine sanding the joint. I think this is going to be okay. Can't really see that joint. Once it's glued up, that's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to use my guitar body clamp to clamp these two together. So it's just a question of putting some glue on there. I'm going to have to also strap them down really tightly. And so I've got some pieces of wood and some clamps which will hopefully do that for me. So I'll get some glue on this. If I can get the glue open, that is. Okay, now I've got some masking tape underneath these two pieces with some wax on, candle wax on it, so hopefully that's going to stop the glue sticking to the bench there. Right, now it's a question of tightening up the clamps here to get a nice tight joint. And the glue's squeezing out, so that's a really good sign. Now then, this is where I need to clamp down. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of vinyl floor there and get a clamp in just about here and squeeze that down. Right, well, that's all ready to dry now. I've also put some pressure down in the middle there, so hopefully that should be okay. Well, we'll soon find out. Well, surprise, surprise, I've actually stuck to the plan and managed to do what I wanted to do. So I've got the neck started, I've cut out the body blank there, and I've also glued together the top. So that's making some progress. Still a lot to do. So I hope you stay with me on this series. Thank you for all your comments. I really appreciate them. and it's really helpful. Anyway, I'll see you soon. In the meantime, stay safe. Cheers.